Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. I am so incredibly thrilled to have you here today because honestly, we're tackling a universal mystery. We're diving deep into the whole fascinating world of decoding human behavior. Specifically, we're looking at those subtle, totally unspoken signals that give away how people truly feel about us. It's kind of like having a superpower, right? So today, we're going to build a really clear, structured framework to help you read the room like an absolute pro detective. Let's get right into it and unravel this mystery together.
They like me not. Look, we all know the old game, right? Plucking the petals off a flower, literally leaving our social fate up to total chance. It's a classic image, but let's be real here. Trying to guess someone's true feelings can be so frustrating and frankly, anxiety-inducing. You might be convinced that someone absolutely cannot stand you, but in reality, they might just have a completely different way of showing they're interested. So instead of relying on flower petals to figure out if you're being avoided or just overthinking things, we're going to look at actual observable human behavior.
And hey, if you've ever found yourself wide awake, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., replaying tiny little social interactions in your head, you're definitely not alone. I mean, it is such a shared human experience. Almost everyone has stayed up way too late, overanalyzing every single detail from their day. You know the drill. Wait, why did they say it like that? Did they actually mean to stand that close to me? It's a universal struggle. But today, we're taking all that anxious energy and channeling it. We're going to break down the actual subtle signs you can pick up on to get to the bottom of someone's true thoughts about you, whether those feelings are romantic or just, general positive regard.
All right, let's kick things off with clue set 1, navigating physical space. Okay, so we're starting our framework at the macro level, looking at how people navigate the physical space around you. This is all about observing those broad movements people make the second you walk into a room. At this macro level, the absolute most fundamental sign of interest is simply the attempt to get physically closer to you. Now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's obvious, but honestly, it's so easily missed in a daily hustle and bustle. People who actually like you will subconsciously or even deliberately try to remove physical barriers between the two of you. This could be as subtle as shifting a plate out of the way across a dinner table or casually tossing a throw pillow off the couch. And it definitely goes beyond just objects. Have you ever noticed the same person somehow always ending up on the exact same walking route as you? Or they're constantly lingering just in the corner of your eye? Yeah, that's not always a coincidence. If someone truly doesn't like you, chances are you literally wouldn't see them very often.
Now let's see how this builds into our next major clue, walking pace. It is fascinating how something as mundane as just walking down the hall can be this massive psychological indicator. If someone walks directly beside you, naturally matching your pace, that is a fantastic sign. Why? Because it makes it so much easier to talk to you, keep eye contact, and just stay physically close. But look at the contrast here. What if they walk behind you? Now that doesn't mean they're ignoring you. Actually, it often just means they're a bit too shy to walk right beside you, but they still desperately want to be in your orbit. And if they're speed walking way out in front of you, well, they're probably more concerned with wherever they're going than with chatting. It's a really simple, elegant rule. Someone who likes you will try to be near you any way they can.
Moving right along to clue set 2, posture and positioning.
So, we've nailed down the macro level of physical space. Let's zoom in a little closer for our intermediate level of investigation. Here we're analyzing exactly how a person positions their torso and limbs when they're engaging with you. Because in a conversation, body language is literally everything. And since most people have absolutely no clue how to control it, their body subconsciously gives away exactly how they feel. Notice those specific anatomical clues. First, things like tilting the head towards you, or leaning in when you laugh, or even just playing with their hair. Those are classic open gestures. But you want to know the real secret weapon? Look at their feet. The feet are literally the first things that move when we're going somewhere, right? So the direction a person's feet are pointing is a massive indicator of where they subconsciously want to be. If their feet are pointed dead at you, they want your attention and they want to get closer. Same thing goes if they have their hands on their hips. By exposing their stomach to you like that, it's a super powerful subconscious sign that they are open and totally receptive to your presence.
So the big takeaway here is that posture tells a story. But I've got to share this really surprising, kind of counterintuitive fact about sitting up straight. Usually, we interpret someone suddenly sitting up completely straight and rigid as a sign they're on edge or uncomfortable or maybe trying to put some distance between us. But the psychology shows it can mean the exact opposite. When someone suddenly sits up straight around you, they are subconsciously trying to show off their strong features. They want to look a bit taller. They are not uncomfortable. They are trying to look their absolute best. Basically, they're actively trying to impress you.
And that brings us to clue set 3,
the micro-expressions.
Okay, we've arrived at the final, most detailed level of our detective guide. We've scanned the room, we've checked the body posture, and now we are looking right at the face. We're talking about those microscopic giveaways that literally happen in the blink of an eye. And speaking of the blink of an eye, let's drop a little science to back up a somewhat bizarre claim. According to a study cited by Psychology Today, people actually tend to blink way more when they're anxious. Blinking rate is such a heavily overlooked metric, but it seriously says a lot about our internal emotional state. Blinking acts as this subconscious mechanism to literally block out things in our environment that we don't like, or things that just make us nervous.
So let's just reverse that logic for a second. If blinking blocks out the bad stuff, then blinking less is a subconscious way of trying not to miss a single thing about you. I know, it sounds a little wild at first, but if a person's blink rate noticeably drops when they're around you, that is a fantastic sign. It's essentially their brain's way of saying, hey, all eyes on you, I don't want to miss a single moment of this.
And right above the eyes, we find our next major microexpression clue. Think about what happens to people's faces when they are genuinely happy. Things go up. Specifically, the eyebrows. People tend to raise their eyebrows when they are just filled with happiness and excitement. So, if you greet someone and you catch that rapid, super subtle upward movement of their eyebrows, that is a subconscious indicator they are genuinely thrilled to see you. Now, quick disclaimer here. If someone doesn't raise their eyebrows around you, it absolutely does not mean they hate you. Not at all. But if they consistently raise them and smile when you walk up, you've got a very, very strong positive signal on your hands.
Finally, let's get to the final verdict.
We have covered so much ground in this explainer today, analyzing physical space, decoding posture, and dissecting all those tiny micro-expressions. We've spent our time learning how to essentially guess others' true feelings, navigating that exhausting constant flip-flop between thinking, I'm overthinking this, and wait, do they actually like me? It is such a human trial. But the single most empowering reminder I can impart to you from all our sources today is this: whether someone likes you or not is simply not your fault. It's super fascinating to read these clues, sure, but your self-worth should never, ever depend on someone else's subconscious body language. At the end of the day, what matters most, way more than the direction a foot is pointing or how fast someone is blinking, is that you love yourself.
Which brings us to our final question for this explainer. Do you have anyone in mind right now? Seriously, think about the people in your life for a second. Think about how they share physical space with you, the way they walk beside you, their posture, maybe even those subtle little eyebrow raises. I highly encourage you to take this structured framework we built today and quietly apply it to your own life. Start observing the world around you just a little more closely. Thank you so much for joining me to decode this everyday psychology. And until next time, keep observing, keep learning, and as always, stay curious.